Hello from Gardening at Duensa here in Ireland, and it's nearing the end of July now, so the July greenhouse update is definitely overdue. So come on, let's go inside and see what's in flower and what's looking good at the moment in my greenhouse. Here we are, just about to go into the greenhouse, but before we do, we'll just pause and have a look at what's on the greenhouse steps. And I guess the first thing to mention is this Agapanthus, which you'll have seen last summer, and it's the one called Queen Mum, and it's just coming into flower now, so I'm looking forward to its flowers. And it's flanked by Fuchsia boliviana. This is the red variety, and over here we have the Alba variety, which seems to be doing so much better, although no sign of flowers yet. Now the Alba one is the one I grew from seed myself, and the red one is the one that someone gave me. Down here we have a tree tomato, which I grew from seed, and these are turning into fine healthy plants. And it's very funny because I determined I wasn't going to grow so many big greenhouse tender plants just because of the hassle, but here I am doing it again, so what can we say. And at its feet we have this little succulent thing that I was gifted last year, but I don't have a name for, so if anyone has a name for that, I'd be grateful to hear it. Without further ado, I guess we'll leave those plants aside and go into the greenhouse and have a look at what's looking good in here at the moment. And our first port of call, as usual, is this staging here on the right, and this is the part that I like to keep as fancy looking as possible. And in summer that means a lot of small pots here with stuff in flower and succulents looking good and that sort of thing. At the back of the greenhouse, it's more kind of utilitarian and plants that I've had to do something with. I have no orchids in the greenhouse this year. On this side here we have some bigger plants, and that kind of finishes off with the table and chairs just there. So I guess we could have a look at some of those plants in a bit more detail. And first up on the staging is this fantastic Pelargonium, and this one is called Appleblossom Rosebud. And if you look closely at the flowers, you can see they really do look like rosebuds. A gorgeous zonal pelargonium that I've had for several years, and despite losing other ones, this one has done me well, so I'm really pleased with it. Let's just have a quick look at those flowers in a bit more detail. They really are pretty things. It's flanked here by an ivy leaf pelargonium, which has no name. And just across from it we have Senecio, hawarthii, and the cultivar name is Kilimanjaro. And this is a plant that I picked up in France this summer, and it's quite a nice specimen plant in a large pot, and one that can be kept compact by trimming the stems once they get too big, so I'm quite delighted with that. Down here, Echeveria Duchess of Nuremberg is going to flower for me for the first time, and you can see that flowering cluster up there looking really great. And down below we have a couple of pelargoniums. The one on the right isn't in flower. And this here, this is a Gastrolea called Green Ice that I picked up at the Tatton plant show in England not very long ago. And I mean, I have loads of Gastroleas, but this one really caught my eye because of the edging to the succulent leaves. It really is quite attractive and quite different from other Gastroleas. And if we just bring it and compare it to this Gastrolea, which also has an edging on the leaf, but mine is nicer, my new one is nicer. And this one here, also a Gastrolea, but much plainer than this new one I got. Standing back a little bit, we will notice some of the usual suspects. So we have Echeveria Compton's Carousel just there, looking great. And the variegated Agave I picked up in Portugal down there. We have this Pelargonium, which is a recent purchase from Potted Jewels, and it is in flower at the moment. And this is one where I really bought it for the leaves, but it holds a proud bunch of flowers up there at the top of the stem, so well, that's very nice too. Over here we have this, and let me see what this is called again. This is a Kalanchoe tomentosa chocolate soldier, and I picked up this plant when I was in France a short time ago, and it got damaged a bit in the suitcase on the way back, but I really like it. I really like the dark fuzziness of the leaves, and I have another one of these plants elsewhere, but it doesn't have this colouring, the dark brown colouring, so it's really, really attractive. Here we have the Echeveria I picked up at the Alpine show earlier this year, and we're looking at several succulents that are new to my collection really. And the names will go up on the screens as usual, and look at the foliage on this Pelargonium. My, in full flower too. Just gorgeous. And behind it, Impatiens Nyamnamensa, which is the variegated Impatiens cockatoo plant, and it produces these fabulous claw-like flowers. Really, really happy with this. Now this is a thirsty plant, you wouldn't think it, but it really is. And if the greenhouse isn't watered in 2 days, then this is the one that droops. That and the one behind it there, the Ursine, both of them very thirsty drinkers. Next door we have a variegated Pelargonium, and this is one that is definitely worth growing for the foliage. Isn't it super? Now which one is this? I think it's Lady Plymouth, is it? Yeah, Lady Plymouth. And as I mentioned before, the name's going up on the screen. In front we have my smaller Agave attenuata, making quite a statement in a tiny pot. Does need to be potted up, seriously. But it looks so good there. Look at it sitting in this tiny pot, and just this big face of, well, of bold and shapely leaves. Really, really great thing. Beside it we have another Pelargonium that needs a slight bit of deadheading. This is a favourite of mine now, called Tomboy, I think, and it has lovely dark flowers. Ivy leaf one again, but this one is quite a reliable flower and one I enjoy a lot. Down below we have this really, really tactile cactus. Yeah, just don't get too close because you feel tempted to stroke it a bit, but there are spines beneath that fuzziness. And down below, peanut cactus, which has persisted with a smattering of flowers all through the summer, this and the larger bowl of them, which is welcome. Well, this was open bigger yesterday, so it's on the wane at the moment, but we can still appreciate it. Really pretty thing. And beside it, a pelargonium that I bought earlier this year for its fantastic patterned foliage. Now, I was warned that this is one that can lose the patterning. It's Barnholm is the name, and you can see that many of the leaves don't have it, but I imagine that the patterning will come back again as the flowers fade. Pretty flowers. And just moving up the greenhouse, there's another one of that succulent you saw at the door, a cutting from a friend last autumn. No idea what it is, so I really would appreciate if somebody can help me out there. And behind is one of the plants I sowed and grew from seed. And this is Solanum quitoense, which produces thorny thorns and edible fruits. And look at those thorns. But it really is an attractive plant. And I have several largish ones here at the moment, making quite a statement in the greenhouse. Next door to it we have Fuchsia, and this is really a very happy story, because when I came back from holiday, which you'll have seen in the last greenhouse update, this plant was really feeling sorry for itself, and I think my daughter had forgotten to water it or didn't water it enough, so the whole top growth was destroyed. So I cut it back to the base and it has completely resprouted. And if we look closely now, you can see that it is going to flower again with these little flowers. So yes, I'm really happy about that. What have we got down below? We have, this is the tiger paw, as I recall, recently repotted and looking fabulous, and this flowered for me last year. I hope it will honour me with the same this year. And down below, another little cutie whose name I don't have, so you succulent experts out there, I'd appreciate to know it. But look at the dainty little flowers. Super. Now I'm going to have to do a repotting job soon in the greenhouse, because there's a lot of these succulents that need repotting, and this really has very little soil in it. Yeah, so that's one that needs some attention. Next to it we have a blue flowered scilla that I bought recently, and well, it's doing well. No sign of flowers, but doing really well. Moving over a little bit, we have this lad, and this is Orbea. It has flowered for me once, but once really is a sad state of affairs for a plant that is so big. So I'm not sure what exactly I'm doing wrong with it, but it's not happy. I give it as much sun as I possibly can, but yeah, it just doesn't love me. What can I say? And down here, this little fella, cactus I picked up in France. Very cute. You get mesmerised looking at the detail in this, and that's the joy of a lot of the cactuses. As Liga pointed out to me when we recently visited the show in Tatton Park, she was absolutely captivated with so many cactuses, and of course it rubbed off on me. So what can we say? So just moving up here a slight bit, we have, oh yeah, this is a species Pelargonium. Old man live forever is the common name, and you can see it has a trunk, looked like a gnarled little old man. Really pleased with that. And it's flanked here by Justitia, which I grew very well for several years, and this plant suffered last winter from underwatering, I believe. Anyway, the top growth died and I had to cut it back, but it resprouted in spring, so I'm really pleased. And look, I've got flowers coming and no yellow leaves this year, so I'm very, very pleased. I think I probably need to do more cutting back in general with my plants. Yeah. Right, okay, so over here we have another species Pelargonium, and this has a flower spike at the moment. Now it usually flowers in winter, but it's flowering now, and there are the flowers. And here we have another little flower spike. And as you can see, this is a thorny Pelargonium with spines all along its bare branches. We have some leaves here, but not a whole lot. Yeah, so that's that shelving. Across the back here, what have we got? Yeah. Okay, so that's Blatilla, a variegated Blatilla. I bought in France a few years back. It has never flowered. Oops. We have a Crinum at the back that I picked up in Madeira also a few years back, and it was held back in too small a pot for a long time. And here we have my monkey puzzle tree, gifted to me by Lynn from Desert Plants of Avalon. And it is small, smaller than hers, but it's doing well now. On the table here at the back we have some succulents that have recently been potted or repotted. Not very exciting looking at the moment. Here's the Sarracenia you saw me buy at the Tappan show just recently. Leucophila. But I chose one that I think has nice fat pictures, so hopefully good stock. And what we got here, oh yeah, this is a Codex plant, Fuchsia, which I picked up in France, and you're in for a treat because soon I will upload a video I made in France of a cactus and succulent specialist nursery that I visited there and picked up some little gems. It really was an amazing place. Now, so what have we got here? We've got in this corner here my proteas, which all got, the baby ones, which all got repotted this year, and a couple of them got cut back. Now the ones that got cut back, or some of the ones that got cut back, don't seem to be doing great, but some of them are pushing out new growth, so hopefully we will have some action on these soon. Moving over here, I guess the next exciting thing to show you is the Bomarea, which is a climbing plant and which has flower buds at the moment. So hopefully that will start displaying soon. Really pleased how well it's done. I've grown this for several years and well, it does well. And I have a few Brugmansias, big plants here at the front. Now some of them I've discarded, but not this one. This is the Euchruma, and it has given me a second flush of flowers this year, which I don't believe it's ever done before. So it's not as heavy a flowering as first time round, but it's certainly very welcome, and I'm delighted that it's decided to do this. Be even more pleased to keep it if it would continue to do so in next year's. And well, what else have we got? Oh yeah, we have Hoya Bella just coming into flower, and oh gosh, I do have some more Hoya news for you inside, which I will show you very shortly. Dudleya looking good there. And over in this corner, my Brugmansia sanguinea, which is looking so amazingly happy since I planted it in the ground. It is just a mass of really healthy looking leaves, and it even has one flower down there. See the orange one there? So yeah, really happy looking plant. And in front of it, the Tibucina which is setting about making buds. So that means new flowers very soon. Looking very happy. And check out this other Hoya. It's my Hoya croniana. And this was gifted to me a little while ago. Some of you may recall the unboxing, but it has decided to come into flower. And it has these really delicate flowers that they open a little bit more than that, but not much more. But the scent, oh my god, the scent is absolutely amazing. If you're interested in scents at all, then I would highly recommend this gorgeous Hoya. Absolutely beautiful. Now this one has been in the house until now, so I've really just brought it out for the video, but it's gorgeous. Couldn't believe it. I was sitting in the sitting room where this plant lives and started getting wafts of this scent. I thought, what's that? What's that? And eventually located the Hoya. So there you go. I guess that just shows how uncarefully I look at my plants when I water them. Oh dear. Okay, so just a few more things to show you. So down here past the plumerias, the frangipanis, there's that little pig, the flying pig that I was gifted recently. And over here I just want to show you a couple of seedlings I have. So this is the tree tomato that you saw in the door, looking really healthy and bushy. We have more Solanum, quitoense, that you saw above, and the tree papaya, which have been potted on as well recently and is looking really quite good. And I think I'm going to sell the slightly smaller ones here, this tree potato and the Solanum and even some papaya. So if you're interested in buying one of those and you're in Europe, then give me a shout. And I think that's probably about it in terms of interesting things over there. Oh yeah, finally, look at this. So this is commonly known as the lipstick plant. It's a Senecio and it's a caudex plant, which means it has a growth like that sits proud of the soil, and it is in full flower. Now this plant really likes a bit of shade, which is why I kind of have it tucked under there. It would completely bleach out if I had it in full sun, but it's looking fabulous, isn't it? Looking really, really happy. Okay, and that was my greenhouse tour, I guess. We have hit on the major points here in the greenhouse, which I hope you liked. And if so, I'm sure you'll check back for more greenhouse updates. Perhaps there's a certain plant that you have your eye on that you wanted an update on that I didn't cover, in which case please do mention that down below because I'll cover it in the next video. And well, I guess that's it for now. Thanks for watching and see you again soon. Bye.